All right, guys, we are live. It is February 8th, Sprint Right Option Podcast, part of the Blue Wire Hustle Network. I am Andrew Pasquini, Jason Aponte. To my right, Jason, I have some good news.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Um, the 49ers are no longer the most recent team to lose a Super Bowl. So we're starting with a boom positive.
Boom, positive. And guess who has a Super Bowl hangover? Not the 49ers.
Not the, yeah, the hangover is now done. The 49ers have had a big breakfast. They are ready to go for 2021. Yeah, so we're probably just going to talk a little, this episode not going to be too long. There's not much happening in 49ers world right now. If we want to talk about the importance of Josh Rosen signing a 1-year deal and Austin Walter coming back, we could spend plenty of time on that. However, I just really think with the season ending, I think it's appropriate to just talk about the Super Bowl, the game itself, kind of the allure of the Super Bowl. It wasn't a good game. I like if you ask me any specific things in the second half, Jason, other than Patrick Mahomes back-to-back just insane throw, like we could probably spend 20 minutes talking about those back-to-back throws that were incomplete passes. Outside of that, and Antoine Winfield doing the peace sign right in front of Tyreek Hill's face, I don't think I could tell you anything else that happened in that second half. I stopped paying attention. It was a boring game.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, I think I saw a tweet that perfectly encapsulated it. It looked like the Buccaneers actually spent the 2 weeks preparing for the game, where the Chiefs kind of had the mindset of, yeah, we can just kind of come back whenever we want, so we can just do whatever we want. And that doesn't work against Tom Brady.
No, it doesn't. And yeah, the thing is that it's funny, right? Like, we're going to get into a little bit about the game and everything as well. But, for anybody who thinks that Patrick Mahomes was the reason that they didn't win this game, like I'm really like, I'm having a blast on Twitter. And really what I'm doing on Twitter is really just, it's about the Chiefs fans. But Patrick Mahomes is not the reason that they lost this game. Like, yes, he didn't play well during stretches, but come on, man. That guy was running for his life. There's no pocket for him to step up in. And how many drop throws were there near the end zone? Tyreek Hill had one. Darrell Williams had one. Kelsey had a bunch. They just played badly this entire game, and it has to do with everybody.
And I know the Chiefs' offensive line was pretty hurt. That probably had a good part to do with it. I really think Todd Bowles deserves a ton of credit because he was sending blitz packages that there's no way Patrick Mahomes knew who was coming or the offensive line knew who was coming. Todd Bowles probably, if they did MVP votes for coaches, Todd Bowles probably would have gotten them all.
Yeah. Well, Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich actually too, right? So people that kind of dragged Byron all season, really. For his play calling and things like that. And man, he was in his bag. He was doing everything that I kind of wanted to see from Andy Reid. And this is my question, and I'll pose it to you.
Yeah.
You knew these injuries were going to happen when coming into the game, right? You have a whole bye week, the Andy Reid off the bye, myth and everything. Why didn't you install a game plan that was more conducive to getting the ball out of the hand quicker and trying to beat that rush and trying to change things up? Like I didn't see any adjustments.
No, none at all. That was kind of the surprising thing is like I would have thought like they just ran the play. Like I think somebody posted a video of a play they ran against the Browns in the playoffs, and then they ran the exact same play against the Buccaneers yesterday. And it was one of those plays that you definitely need time to develop because it was a Kelsey was in the slot on the left. He would run a out route and then spin around and then cut back upfield. And he got open both times. Like it's a great play call. However, it's very important to have time in the pocket on those routes that take a long time to develop. I just don't know why they didn't change the plan because you can't pretend that the drop off from like Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz missing the game or that like you can't run the same game plan. And I feel like the Chiefs did that. And it was just very arrogant. Confusing. It was very mind numbing. I don't like the Chiefs just really had no plan. It's almost like they expected Mahomes to do because Mahomes almost did it twice where he just kind of made something out of nothing. Back-to-back plays, two of the greatest throws I've ever seen. Which I was kind of sad because I tried to start a conversation of like if the Chiefs decided tomorrow to put Patrick Mahomes on the trade block, Like, what's the bare minimum the Chiefs should ask for? And I just feel like those back-to-back plays were just what Mahomes is, making something out of nothing and almost getting back. He should have had a touchdown on the second one. Like that ball hit Damian Williams in the hands.
Darrell Williams, right?
Or whichever Williams they have.
Right.
I know they have a bunch of different
D. Williams.
D. Williams. The first throw was a little off, but it hit the pylon. It was in a spot where only his guy could catch it. It's just insane. But like they just kind of said, okay, yeah, we're missing two key guys on our offensive line. We're just going to run the same offense. No problem against a very good pass rush. And it didn't work. And it just goes to show how important a good pass rush is, because the Buccaneers didn't change anything in terms of their scheming. They could have easily sat back and said, hey, the Chiefs are missing two of their best offensive linemen. We could rush 4 and just drop 8 or drop 7. I'm good at math. You could drop 7 the whole game. No, Todd Bowles was just like, nah, we're going to play it like Greg Williams would play it, and we're just going to keep sending pressure. And the Chiefs just kind of said, you know what? Keep doing that. We're just going to keep doing what we're going to do and not change anything. I mean, it was a really weird game for the Chiefs.
It felt arrogant also too, like almost just like, we have Mahomes, we know that this is what's going to happen, and you know what, let him play backyard ball and it's fine. Like it's a little bit hard to think about, right? Because Andy Reid and Bieniemy are so good at adjusting and play calling and everything, and it's just like I haven't had a chance to dig into their press conference to talk about it, because I know that Andy Reid had to start his press conference with a statement about the tragedy that happened, involving his son. I don't want to say that had anything to do with what was going on or anything like that, but for him to start that right there after losing the Super Bowl, it goes to show you that it was in the air. I don't know how much that affected anything, but I have to dig into what they said. Like, honestly, you never left anybody else in to max protect. You just left the running back there to try and help, and it never worked. It never once worked. I just don't understand.
And like the way I knew they weren't changing their game plan whatsoever, again, and maybe not the best example, but after the Buccaneers got turned away at the 1 yard line, that 4th down stand, the Chiefs, and it was a play that worked. Like they got 15 yards on it. The Chiefs came out in a shotgun with no running back in the backfield. And I just felt like that was, and they ended up shifting the out running back to help block. It just kind of felt, I don't know. And they just decided not to adjust anything. They just said, we're going to play our game, which I guess to a certain extent works. Like, say, hey, this is what got us here. We can continue doing it like this. But at some point, you need to change something up. And I mean, with how good of a defense the Buccaneers defense is insane.
Yeah, man.
And they just said, hey, yeah, we're going to try and do what we've done all year. It's not working, but it was literally the definition of insanity. Right. It wasn't working. And they're like, well, we're going to just try it again and see if it works. I mean, at least the Niners scored a touchdown in their Super Bowl.
See, I got close to running up and tweeting that when I was rage tweeting, like, and just having a blast. Cause I started like in the middle of the 4th quarter. It was over. Right.
Yeah.
I almost fired off something like that. Like I was very close to it. But one more thing that I do want to say about Patrick Mahomes, I really like what he said after the game about now there's a game plan out there that can stop us. And I'm working immediately to look at this film and make adjustments on it. That's what you want to hear. Yeah. Right. He never pouted. Like he never, looked like it was too frustrating for him. Like he understands that, hey, you know what? This is what it is. Now it's time to learn. That's what you want to hear from your franchise quarterback. Yeah. So I have to give him props on that as well, too. The thing that I'm going to kind of clown about the Chiefs was all we heard. Oh, we're going to make people remember. Oh, yeah, they sleeping on us. Nobody was sleeping on you. Everybody picked you, and you threw up that, you threw that whole, that whatever that was, you threw that up on national television, and now you look stupid. Just shut up and go out there and play, dude. Like, seriously, all of them. Like, really.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know why they kind of came off thinking they were under. I guess like it's a mentality thing. Like it's something to get you going. I guess it works, but it's just so weird when you're 14-2. You're the best team in the NFL to do it. Tom Brady's good. I don't know if anybody has said that yet. I might be the first one to have that take in his 21-year career. Tom Brady's pretty good. I don't know if you saw this stat. Do you know Tom Brady has more Super Bowl rings than every other franchise in the NFL?
You don't say.
Yeah, I actually had to look that up. Very in-depth research, a lot of Googling. I had to confirm a lot of sources on that, but I am confident in reporting that stat.
Here's a question that I'll ask you.
Yes.
Tom Brady was drafted in 1999?
Something like that. 2019.
How old were you, Andrew?
7.
7.
If we're running, or actually, if he was drafted in April of 99, I was 6.
Wow.
Because I was born in 92, November of 92. Yeah, so Tom Brady's been doing that for a pretty long time. Dumbo down here, I wasn't even born when Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl. Like, it's crazy how consistently good he is. Yeah, like that's my thing is like, yeah, he had a down year last year. He's still Tom Brady. And I know Florio sent that tweet that only 2 teams were interested, or whoever it was. Only 2 teams were interested in him. It's like, those were the only 2 teams that were publicly interested. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of teams kicked the tires on it. Like there should have been 31 teams that kicked the tires on that, and the one being the Chiefs. But yeah, to say Tom Brady was done after last year was, how many times have we said Tom Brady's been done in his whole career? I mean, it feels like it's almost a yearly tradition at this point. Mm-hmm. He's I don't know, man. And
this stat right here in front of you on the screen right now from Matt Barr, head 49 and GM guy. Tom Brady, 47% is more likely to make a Super Bowl than Steph Curry, 43% is to make a 3-pointer. That is bonkers.
Yeah. We're never going to see it again.
No.
We're never going to see it again.
That's always been my point to everybody about it's the same thing. All right, with Brady, right? He's lost finals, and I hate to correlate it with this, but LeBron James has lost finals. You're still not going to be able to see either of those. You'll never see players do what they're doing. Like, you're not going to see that again. You're just not. And I mean, unless it's Mahomes, but he's 1-1 right now, and pretty much 10 minutes away from being 0-2. And that's the thing. Like, he has had 2 subpar Super Bowl performances, right? I mean, he turned it on in the last 10 minutes of last year's game. Mm-hmm. I hate to keep going back to that, but I mean, those are our reference points.
It's our closest reference point.
Yeah.
And I've always hated that, like, LeBron losing finals stat. It's because, like, Michael Jordan never lost in the finals, I think, right? That's the stat.
Yeah, because he was dunking on plumbers. Oh, I'm sorry.
But also, too, like, why are we faulting LeBron for losing in the finals when, like, Jordan lost in the first round multiple times? Like,
LeBron's never lost in the first round.
Yeah, and like, so, and obviously this isn't a LeBron
it's not
Jordan debate. That's kind of my point. It's like, why do we knock these people down for losing in the championship game when, like, they could have lost in the first? Like, why do we value a Super Bowl loss higher on the charts than a first round loss? Like, it's weird. Like, are we going to question, I don't know, Ben Roethlisberger's career? He hasn't lost in a Super Bowl. At least I don't remember. He hasn't lost in a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Who did he lose to?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my God, that was Aaron Rodgers. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers hasn't lost in a Super Bowl, but he's been there once. But is his 1-0 record more valuable than Mahomes' 1-1 record? Because Rodgers has lost significantly more in the first round, and I think Mahomes has only lost. He hasn't even lost in the first round or the second round. He's only lost once in the AFC Championship game. So does that make Rodgers better because he's 1-0? Like it's so weird that we value these Super Bowl losses as lesser. I don't get it. I never understood it. I don't know why we do it. But yeah, I like Mahomes is a great play. Like, I'm not taking anything away from Mahomes. He's gonna be back in the Super Bowl an obnoxious amount of times. Is he gonna make 10 and win 7 of them? That's the question. I don't think we're ever going to see that again.
It's hard, especially when you talk about where the Chiefs are going to be with their cap soon, with things that are going to be they're going to have to make tough decisions, and I think last night an argument can be made both ways for the pass rusher quarterback discussion, right? But what you need to put to that is context, right? Mm-hmm. The Chiefs offensive line is completely banged up. Even the great Patrick Mahomes can't survive that. At the same time, the pass rushers win. They blew up every single play. Mm-hmm. It was Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul. That's the other stat. I see it in here. 8-0, never lost a playoff game. Didn't even know that.
Well, you know, when I do rank all-time defensive ends, I actually value the defensive end wins.
Mhm.
You know, I would probably rather have a guy like JPP over Lawrence Taylor, because I mean, I'm sure Lawrence Taylor's lost some playoff games. 8-0, you can't top that. I've always said the defensive end win stat tells me all I need to know about defensive end.
Defensive
I can't
end
even get
wins,
through that sentence.
defensive end wins is a stat.
But like my thing is like I'm 50-50. Like I am at a point with the quarterback versus edge rusher debate. It's 50-50 to me. It really depends what you need. Because yes, I understand that the 2018 Niners, Garoppolo got hurt and that helped them get better. But if you look at the defense, just isolate the Niners defense. They didn't have a good pass rush.
Oop.
I muted my mic somehow. I was so excited talking, I accidentally muted my mic. The Niners pass rush was very bad in 2018. That's not a secret.
Right.
The Niners secondary was also very bad. They broke the record for fewest interceptions in a season with 2. What did the Niners do? They didn't address the secondary. They ran it back with the same secondary. They add Nick Bosa. All of a sudden, they're forcing turnovers. It really, like, I understand the argument of edge rusher versus quarterback. What's more important? They're both equally important on their side of the ball. If you have an edge rusher and you don't have a quarterback, go get a quarterback. If you have a quarterback and don't have edge rushers, go get an edge rusher. I don't think it's very fair to just isolate it and say, well, this is the thing that'll fix it. They're both important. The edge rusher is at the same importance as quarterback on the defense. That's why we see teams, if there's not an obvious number one quarterback available, edge rusher is the next position. We don't even value tackles like that anymore. It used to be tackles or quarterbacks. Now it's edge rushers or quarterbacks. That's what it is. It's not an either or. It just comes down to what you need. And if you're talking in the sense of the 49ers, what's the bigger importance right now? Is it edge or is it quarterback? If you trade, and I know everybody wants to talk about this, if you trade Nick Bosa for Deshaun Watson, yeah, it fixes your quarterback position. Sure. Does the quarterback position need that much help to trade a franchise edge rusher? Probably not. But now you're risking the defense of going back to what 2018 was because you got rid of that elite edge rusher. So I understand both sides of the argument. Just to me, it's almost like a fallacy. It comes down to what you need as opposed to what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just get both?
So that's the thing, right? It's got to be one with the other, right? And
Yes.
I think that last night also proved one more thing, that football is the ultimate team sport. Like someone as amazing as Patrick Mahomes looks so mortal, running for his life. And I think that, it again, Andrew's not taking a stance on either side here.
No.
He's just talking through why he understands both sides of it. It's an interesting conversation, but every conversation needs context. Every conversation needs its nuance. Shout out to Vish. It needs all of those things. It needs them because that you can't just say, okay, so here PFF put out a tweet today. Patrick Mahomes had 4.5 seconds to throw the ball. That's misleading. There's no context. Why? Because he was running around for 35 seconds before he can get rid of the ball. That's why you can't take those numbers and just take that for face value without context, without film, without things lining up with your eyes. And that's another part of it as well, too. It's an interesting discussion. It's a discussion that's not going to be going away anytime soon. And I'm certain that we're going to get more from other places on it, especially if, this whole Bosa being traded thing, no one ever brought this up. The Texans have never spoken to the 49ers if they ever had and said, we want Nick Bosa. So I don't know why everybody's in an uproar about it. Again, you're just yelling for no reason. Don't trade Bosa. Nobody's trading Nick Bosa. Yeah. Stop. Just stop.
Do you want to hear a stat? According to Next Gen Stats, Mahomes ran 497 yards before throwing the ball or being sacked on Sunday night.
Dude, he was running in a circle like in Little Giants, like just like trying to run away and just like, and then these throws that he's making like off platform, and it's like, oh my God, man! Like just it was incredible. That's why I said Patrick Mahomes isn't the reason they lost.
No, I will be honest though. If I were a Chiefs fan, the amount of times he runs backwards, like 10 yards to avoid a sack, would stress me out so much. Like, didn't he break the record for longest sack taken in NFL? Like, I think against the Dolphins, he lost like 20 some odd yards on a sack. Like, if anything, like Patrick Mahomes is the perfect quarterback, I think. But that's probably his biggest fault is he tries too hard to make the big play, and it works more often than not. Like, I'm going to give him that. But when you're losing 20 yards on a sack because you're trying to make something happen, at some point, just take a sack at 8 yards as opposed to 20. I do have a question kind of to tie it back to the 49ers, I guess, in terms of just the Super Bowl watching.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was in the wrong for wanting the Chiefs to win. Am I wrong?
No, I wanted the Chiefs to win because, and this was when it first happened, because I have this like this picture in my mind that's probably not going to happen of the 49ers getting back to the Super Bowl next year and knocking off their three-peat. That's really what I wanted.
Yeah.
When I chose the Chiefs before this game, I was choosing with my head because I'm just like, man, you can't stop them all game. You can stop them for a little while. It's not going to happen. They scored 9 points. They scored 9 points. Yeah. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that Harrison Butker has all their points.
I know, right? And like to me too, like I understand, yes, the Chiefs beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. They have so many likable players. Like, come on, you can't. If you're telling me you don't like Patrick Mahomes, you're wrong. Like, I just straight. What is there to dislike about Patrick? What is there to dislike about Travis Kelce? Yes, I understand. We like to do the best tight end in the league conversation. Kelce's probably better than Kittle. I'm still on the side of I think they're both perfect for what they're asked to do. Like, why choose? That's my other issue is like, why do we have to talk about the GOAT of GOAT? Like, I never want to hear that word again. I never want to hear the word GOAT again. Like, I'm tired of it. Why do we have to make Tom Brady the greatest GOAT, the GOATest of GOATs in sports? It's like, man, there's so many individuals. There's so many individual athletes in sports that like, why can't we just let them stay in their sport? Serena Williams is the greatest tennis player of all time. I don't need to compare her to Tom Brady. Michael Jordan or LeBron James is the greatest basketball. You see how I do that? You see how I don't pick a side? I don't need to compare them to Tom Brady. Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer of all time. I don't need to compare it to Tom Brady. I'm tired of like, why do we need a best in something? Why can't we just appreciate what we have?
I know who I dislike on the Chiefs. Frank Clark.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. Frank Clark is one, but like they just have so many likable players. Like I know obviously I don't like Tyreek Hill. I love Andy Reid. Andy Reid's probably one of my favorite coaches of all time. Like him going from the Eagles and not able to win it, like that was like my one like silver. Like, yes, I know I was so sad the Niners lost the Super Bowl last year, but there was part of me that was like, you know what? I'm happy for Andy Reid. He finally got it. That's something that's been escaping his whole. I wish it didn't have to come against the 49ers, but like there's so many likable things about the Kansas City Chiefs. I just don't understand why we automatically have to cheer against them when it's a Super Bowl situation. Like, yeah, I like the Bills better than the Chiefs. Like I cheered for the Bills against the Chiefs, but like, I don't want to see Tom Brady win another Super Bowl. Like, come on. I would have rather seen Mahomes because it's, I don't know, man. I just kind of felt like I was told I was in the wrong for wanting the Chiefs to win, and I was just very confused by it.
Not at all. I wanted the Chiefs to win for my selfish reasons, but let me say something about Tom Brady, which is something that I don't understand the 49ers, talk around this. Like, and so I'm going to disagree with you here, respectfully, Andrew.
What are you disagreeing with me on?
That Tom Brady shouldn't win another Super Bowl. I don't care about that. That doesn't bother me or affect me in the slightest.
Yes.
I get that you're bored. I get that you're bored watching the same guy, but I take it as this is dominance on a level that you'll never see in the ultimate team sport.
Yeah, let me rephrase that because I think it's just kind of situational because if it was Tom Brady against the Raiders, I'd probably want the Buccaneers to win, right? Like it kind of I think it would be more fun for Mahomes to have a second ring than Brady having ring number 745, So like, I think it was just kind of situational. I like the Chiefs better than I like the Buccaneers because, Jameis, they're probably 19-0 if they had Jameis. Let's be honest.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm cooling my shot. No. So yeah, I think it just kind of came down to that. It's like, I prefer, and like, I've liked the Chiefs my whole life. Like I sent the picture to the group chat. Like my 5th grade teacher is a diehard Chiefs fan. Mm-hmm. And like, she's a big reason why I love football as much as I do, because she allowed me every Monday morning to go up to the board and update our standings that we had on the whiteboard and all that stuff. So like, I grew up liking the Chiefs, and there's no like I don't like the Ravens. I know the Ravens beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. I could use that same logic, no problem. However, there's a lot of different reasons I don't like the Ravens, namely Ray Lewis. So like I don't like the Ravens because I just don't think they're a great franchise and they don't have a lot of ethics. They're getting better. They're getting better, which is good. But like just to hate a team because they beat the 49ers in the biggest game of the season last year, like I don't think that is a reason to cheer against them.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, I saw a lot of people on Twitter, oh, God, I can't stand Brady. Tom Brady's never done a thing to 49er fans. Not a thing. He's never been in your conference. You've never beaten them in the Super Bowl. If anything, allow me to make this point. Tom Brady has done two great things for the 49ers. You want to know what that is?
He was at the catch game.
Knocking off the Seahawks.
Oh.
And knocking off the Chiefs.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? I don't get it.
And for me with Brady, it's kind of like for me the Spurs. I know it's a different sport, but like it's just really kind of at the middle of the run. It was just more annoying that like the Spurs and the Patriots always won the Super Bowl. But now that like Brady's just doing it so consistently, you just have to respect it. And I don't even think I dislike Brady. Like I don't have anything against him. Like, yeah, it was fun to cheer against him when I was younger because he always won. But yeah, man, the man's won 7 Super Bowl titles, man, and that's something.
This one's the most impressive, one of the most impressive ones as well, too. Like, that's the thing. Now, I was about to say most impressive, and that's not true because 28-3 exists. But it is one of the most impressive ones because don't you know that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are in an arms race right now to figure out who doesn't need the other, who can win without the other, and Brady's already got a leg up on Belichick. Like, like Tom Brady is out here just trying to dispel any sort of notion that Bill Belichick has carried him in any way, and that's what he's doing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like for me too, man. Like this was his most dominant Super Bowl. Like the Chiefs won, the Buccaneers won this game by 31-9. The previous six Super Bowls, the point differential was a combined 28 points.
You could ask anybody. There's someone out there who picked the Bucs right away, right? And I'm not mad at you for that. Just everybody picked the Chiefs. I don't think there's a person in this world that thought that they would lose by 20 plus points and that the Chiefs would never score a touchdown. No one saw that coming. Nobody.
Do you know what my favorite stat to come out of yesterday was?
Go for it.
When Brady threw the touchdown pass to Gronk in the first quarter, that was his first quarter touchdown pass in a Super Bowl. That is insane.
He's been a 10.
That's insane.
He's been a 10.
I miss the days where I could pretend like Montana is the GOAT over Brady in terms of quarter. I don't think anything Brady can do can top Jerry Rice. I still think Jerry Rice is the greatest football player of all time. And the record book backs that up for me. Mm-hmm. But after the 28-3, like there's no way you can say Montana's better than Brady.
No, and my dad texts me. My dad texts me just 4 letters, and you don't want to hear go.
Yeah, and same thing with my dad. My dad was alive for the 80s Niners, and he always lived off of like Montana's the greatest quarterback of all time. And after that 28-3 game, my dad texted me, he's like, I don't think I can say that anymore. And
think about how long ago that was.
That was 4 years ago, man. My girlfriend loves halftime shows, and I was watching
this year.
The Weeknd. It was The Weeknd.
Oh.
She loves halftime shows, and I was watching. She wanted me to watch the Bruno Mars Coldplay one at Super Bowl 50 because like I don't remember the halftime shows. That was 5 years ago. Peyton Manning's been retired for 5 years. That's insane. Time flies. And also, actually, we should talk about that for a second. John Lynch.
Oh yeah,
he made the Hall of Fame. Good for. I'm very happy for him.
Congrats. Now put Patrick Willis and Roger Craig in, you bunch of cowards.
Oh my God, how like Roger Craig makes no sense to me, man. He literally, like I said it on Twitter, like he is literally the first version of the modern NFL running back, and we're putting Marshall Faulk in before him. What?
LaDainian Tomlinson's in over him, and there is no
Like,
LaDainian Tomlinson without him and his skill set, anything like that.
how
Yes.
how is Calvin Johnson a first ballot Hall of Famer and Terrell Owens isn't?
Yeah.
What?
Don't get me started. Look,
What?
one more thing that I think we should talk about before we go crazy on the Hall of Fame is
Yes.
someone on the 49ers won a ring.
Two.
No. Someone on
Oh.
the active roster won
Rosen,
a ring.
yeah.
Yes. Rosen is a
Rosen.
Super Bowl champion, and Blaine Gabbert got his ring as well.
And Bradley Pinion.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Look at all of these 49ers flourishing, getting their rings.
Hey,
one guy got a ring and wasn't even on the team anymore.
I don't want to hear about playoff inexperience. There's 3 Super Bowl rings in the 49ers quarterback room right now. Okay.
So look, let's explain it. Let's explain it for Dumbo. So Rosen gets a ring because he was on the Bucs long enough.
Yes.
They have to send him a ring.
The best example I can tell you, it's baseball. The 2010 World Series, the player who was in the best position was Benji Molina, because Benji Molina was on the Giants at the start of the 2010 season. He got traded to the Rangers. He was guaranteed a ring that World Series, because if you're on the roster or if you're on the team at any point, you get a ring. And Rosen was on the practice squad the whole year, but I believe he still gets a ring.
He gets a ring.
So 3 Super Bowl rings in the 49ers quarterback room, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and Patrick Mahomes only has 1. So does Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. Couldn't be my quarterback room.
Josh Rosen has never lost in a Super Bowl. Like, let's talk about it. Let's talk. Is Rosen better than Mahomes? Let's start the conversation.
Let's facts only. Just facts only. That's it.
Yeah, I wish the game was better. That's all I ever asked for in Super Bowls, that the Niners aren't in, is a close, because when the Niners play in the Super Bowl, I want them to win 124-0 every time.
Yeah.
But when they're not in this, I just want good games, and like that couldn't even produce for me. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. You know, it is disappointing, because I like when we did our predictions on the Friday show with Akash. Shout out to Akash. I said, I think it's the last guy who has the ball is probably going to win the game. And that's like when I talked with my dad before the game, again, big Montana homer, said the same thing. He's like, dude, it's like whoever's going to have the ball last is going to wind up winning this game. And that's what I thought as well. Like, I had it 31-28, and just that none of that ever happened.
Can I help you out though? Technically, you were right.
Oh,
the Buccaneers kneeled the clock out. So
they did. There was a prop bet out there for that, right? And I was too chicken to take it.
I went wild on prop bets.
What'd you hit?
I did not do well last night. I did get the blue Gatorade right. I was pretty happy about that. I hit a prop bet that which total was higher, Patrick Mahomes rushing yards or DeAndre Ayton rebounds plus blocks, and that was solved by the first quarter. Prop bets are fun, man. I hate them. Oh, I also hit Team Ruff. Team Ruff won the Puppy Bowl. Hit that.
So, speaking of prop bets, are we going to talk about the best thing that happened in the game?
The streaker?
Yes. Now, do you know the backstory?
I read that he his friend put a ton of money on there would be a streaker.
He did.
Yeah. Oh, he did.
So the bet was plus the bet was plus 750, and he put 50 bands.
I thought it was his friend.
No, the guy was saying that he was there with him, telling him that there was a streaker prop bet. He put 50 bands on a plus 750 bet, waited for his friend to distract, and he jumped on the field. $1,000 to get out of jail, $300-something thousand in his bank account.
I would do that 10 out of 10 times.
Hands down, I can make that trespassing charge go away.
Jason, I do want to let you know though, if you put a bunch of money on the streaker at the Super Bowl bet, I would streak for you. I would make sure you get that. Just give me 50% though.
50?
Yeah, just 50.
Cool.
We can put a lot of money into the podcast, all that fun stuff.
And then the other thing is okay, so the streaker happens, but then guess who gets to announce it?
What's his name?
Kevin Harlan.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, man. Put that man in the Hall of Fame just for because we all know Kevin Harlan for the Rams opening week game. That was Chip Kelly's first game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The 49ers beat the brakes off the Rams, and then he's at the 30. He's clearly drunk. He's going, and then for him to do it again during the Super Bowl, pull up your pants, man. That was easily the best moment of the night. Easily.
Did you actually that might have been the best play of the Super Bowl? Is did you
got
watch
in the end zone?
No, he didn't. The
Oh, he got
security
stopped at
guard
the 1.
hit him at the 1. Dude, you know that
He
security
slid.
guard was hitting him, and he like if I'm the security guard in my head the whole time, I'm just like, he's not scoring. He's not scoring. I'm not letting him cross the plane. And he did a good job because about the 30-yard line, he split 2 defenders. I mean, if we're looking for a third string running back, little cheap, Shanahan could probably get 4 yards per carry out of him.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Is that the solution to the 49ers third running back? Is it? I don't know. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see what the Niners do. The offseason kind of starts today. That's cool.
Yeah. How many days? 213 days until first kickoff?
I'm sure there's some Twitter page out there keeping track.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be the longest 200 days of my entire
Dude, the offseason hasn't even started. Like it just started today, and I feel like it's been a long
84 years.
Oh my goodness. Hey, but let's talk about it. Ric Flair, John Cena, 16 world titles. We can't compare Brady to that.
Nope, you definitely can't. And Ric Flair still could be in position to win more if he wanted to.
Did you wrestling knowledge? Did you know Ric Flair is still currently being used as an on-screen character?
Yeah, because he's the GOAT.
Do you want to know what he's currently? He's currently part of a storyline because his daughter's wrestling, Charlotte Flair.
Oh wow!
He's currently in a storyline where they have heavily implied that he is doing extracurricular activity with Charlotte Flair's main rival, who is like 30-something.
A woman?
Yes, wrestling. I'm not joking, dude. At the Royal Rumble, when Lacey Evans, who is the person who they are implying, she came out in like Ric Flair's robe. Wrestling. You gotta love it. I was told it wasn't a sport yesterday. I don't know how the NFL can create drama like that.
Let's get this back on track.
Weirdest part about the Super Bowl. Vince Lombardi's hologram?
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. It was such a weird way to start the Super Bowl. I was just like, why? Why is this a thing? Like,
dude, once the Tupac hologram came out, it was all hands on deck, I guess, at this point, right? Like
Roger Goodell was watching Coachella this year that year, and he's just like, Vince Lombardi.
Bring him back.
Man, I love the Super Bowl. The NFL is like, how do we take an idea and make it the corniest possible thing? Like, we could just have a fake voiceover of Vince Lombardi. No, we are going to get an on-the-field hologram of Vince Lombardi. Dude, they cut to the crowd a couple times. The crowd is just like, what? What? Oh, my God. I love football, man. I love football.
I mean, look, here, let's stay back on track with the Super Bowl. Look, congratulations to the Bucs. Congratulations to Tom Brady.
Yes.
Bruce Arians, I'm happy for you. Byron Leftwich, that's great. Even though they called you Todd Bowles in the press conference, and whoever called you, that should be fired from whatever job that is that they have. But yes, man, this team, Tristan Wirfs was incredible yesterday. Incredible. And I mean, and all season, not just yesterday, but all season, man, Tristan Wirfs was incredible.
Yeah, he was the guy at 13 that I was very tempted for the 49ers to be like, hey, we should, or wait, was it 13 or 12? They were at 13 and they traded back to 14, right? That's what it was.
Yes.
He was definitely a name that I was like, oh man, I'm curious if they take him, because at that time, Staley was still kind of in question. Obviously, I think the 49ers came out on the better end, getting Trent Williams. But Wirfs had a great, like that Buccaneers team, like they're good. It's just kind of crazy what happens when you get a franchise quarterback in Brady. I mean, I use franchise just as the thought of Brady, because Brady, I don't know if you count Brady as a franchise quarterback, because you're probably.
I mean, he'll be there next year.
He'll be there next year, but like, what's like the amount of years you need to be considered a franchise quarterback? I don't know how many years they'll get out of Brady, but like, it's kind of crazy when you bring in a guy and get him the weapons he asked for, when you already have guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, the Buccaneers, man, they deserve all the credit in the world, because they saw their window was open and they did what they needed to do.
Yeah, imagine that. Swinging for a big thing to make sure you get your Super Bowl ring.
Sometimes you gotta swing for the fences.
All right. Yeah. Well, cool. Now
it happened. Hey, And hopefully, the 49ers, they swing for the fences this offseason. We'll see what that ends up being. As I said, I still think the 49ers are in a fine position as it is. I think, if they don't, as I said, if they don't make a move at the quarterback position, I think they're fine where they are. Whether or not there's a Super Bowl contender as they stand, I don't know. They are definitely a playoff contender as they stand. But there's chances they can take. We'll see if they take them, but I don't think they have to yet. I mean, the Buccaneers were in a position where they probably have to, because yes, I'm the biggest Jameis Winston fan on 49ers Twitter, but it was time. It was definitely time to move on. And they could have easily said, let's look at the draft. But no, they went big. They went for Brady. They got him, and then they brought in all the guys he wanted. And they
Are you talking about Jameis Winston 2021 Saints starter?
Oh, yeah. Dude, listen, I'm definitely going to buy a jersey. I'm definitely getting a Jameis Winston Saints jersey. Definitely going to do it. Got to do it, right? Especially if he's the starter. Like, ideally, if the Niners want a backup, I guess they got their backup today. But if they want Jameis, I'll buy a Jameis Niners jersey.
Is there a way that you can make one?
I might even just buy a Jameis Niners jersey as it is. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have?
See, and you said 30 minutes. We're already at 40.
Yeah, dude. I did. Listen, hey, it was good talk. Any final thoughts on the Super Bowl before we just dip? I don't know how many questions we got. I've just had.
Yeah, we'll take a look. We'll probably hang out for a few more minutes if you guys, have any questions in the chat. That 49er related, anything like that. Yeah, we can talk about it. I thought I saw one that was really good in here, and I think that we should talk about it real quick. I think it was about the penalties. Which was a large talking point.
Yeah, listen, man. I think there was 2 pretty bad calls in the first half.
Yep.
But if you are blaming the referees for that loss, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't think the refs swing the game 22 points.
Right.
I hate it. The Tyrann Mathieu interception, I didn't see a holding. I really didn't. I don't know how that gets called. Obviously, that's a 7-point swing. The pass interference on the first one, the one where they tried to do what they did against the Packers, that was an obvious pass interference. The pass interference in the end zone, I don't know what uncatchable is anymore, because there is no way. There is no way.
All right, here we go. We got some questions now. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, honestly, just to put a bow on that, really, honestly, I think that my point about it was not so much that the penalties themselves swung it. It's just that it was a different philosophy with the group that was calling last year. Last year, they let them play.
Yeah.
This year, they weren't letting them play. So it's like, man, I understand it's the biggest game, and you're like, oh, let them play in the Super Bowl. Dude, game 1 or the Super Bowl, call it the same way every single week. Yeah. There can't be different times for when you're going to call things. Not in the biggest game either, man. I understand you don't want to see penalties swing games, but it is what it is. And, whatever. We don't have to harp on it too much, but that's how I feel about it, honestly. So here's a good question from Dylan on Twitter. What is Jimmy's confidence level knowing this team looks for an upgrade every season? This is a good question. I mean, This is a great question. Andrew, do you want to start?
It should probably be about the same, because it's not like the Niners are doing a thing where they're like, yeah, Jimmy's our starter next year, and then just looking for another quarterback. Mm-hmm. They're being pretty honest. I know people are kind of knocking on how they've handled it, but they've been honest this whole time. Listen, Jimmy's our starter, but if we can find an upgrade, we're going to make a move on it. I don't see how Garoppolo's confidence can be not, and I don't typically like to assume what a player's confidence level is. In my mind, though, with how open the Niners have been about it, I just don't see how it could affect him. I'm sure, for me, if he's the starter here, he'll be happy. The confidence will be high. If the Niners decide to make an upgrade, he's going to be a starter somewhere else. It is what it is. I don't see how it can knock his confidence down too low, because the Niners have been pretty honest with it. It's not like they're like, yeah, Jimmy's our guy, and then all these reports are coming out that, hey, they might be interested in Watson. Hey, they might be interested in Wentz, all this stuff. It's, if we can upgrade on him, we can upgrade on him. So I don't see how it could affect it too much.
Yeah, and I think that what people forget sometimes is that these football players understand it as a business, right? Yes. They understand that, right? And your confidence can't get shaken. You just have to be the guy who goes out there, right? And you have to understand that. I think every player unless you're one of the elite players in the league, understand that, you're a little bit on the chopping block, and they're always going to look to upgrade any sort of position, whether that's left tackle, center, quarterback, running back, whatever, right? Like it's just how it is. It's the nature of the business. So it's tough for me to think that someone who plays this game, understands it, has been around it for so long, doesn't understand the business side of it, and shouldn't take that personally, I think.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't say better myself.
Okay, here's a good one. From Jordan Rice on YouTube. Does Mahomes running for his life make the Niners reconsider trading a bunch of picks for Watson without investing in the O-line? That's a great point. That is a great point, right? And I think that is your talking point if you're on the side of you can't sell everything for, all those picks for Watson, right? Because then you can end up with games like that where Watson will have to do those things. And if Patrick Mahomes can't do it, I don't think anybody really can. And it's a really good talking point. It's a really good point.
To be fair, the Niners' offensive line is significantly better than what the Chiefs was last night.
Well, yes, because there was all backups.
I don't think one game is going to scare the Niners. I think they need to upgrade their offensive line regardless. I've already said, I think the two, the center and the right guard, you can probably upgrade on. I don't think last night changes that idea. I'm sure it scares them a little bit, but I think, you have a good three with Tomlinson, Williams, if you re-sign him, and McGlinchey. I don't think one game is going to change the outlook of your entire franchise. I think they were going to try and upgrade the line if they could, whether it's Garoppolo starting next year or whether it's Watson.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a good point. See, this is what I found when I was watching the game. I was like, oh, man, each side is going to load up on this game and use whatever they like. You're going to pick and choose what you want and what you saw from this game to fulfill your narrative or further your narrative, right? So I can see it on both sides. I really can. This game is so interesting in that regard.
That's what the Super Bowl is, though, man. And something I hate because let's be honest, like, yes, Garoppolo, you can upgrade on him. But in 2019, Garoppolo was pretty clutch in the fourth quarter. He had a good amount of game-winning drives. And now, after that Super Bowl, there was questions about his ability to come up clutch late. It's like one game doesn't change the 18 games they played beforehand, but we really like to take it's always week one and it's always the Super Bowl. We base narratives off of week one in the Super Bowl. Every year, we can't do that. We cannot do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point. We're not going to go away from it. Again, no one's trading Nick Bosa, but that's not going to stop the talk from continuing. I think that it should go away from the whole Nick Bosa for Watson thing to just straight up what is more valuable in your mind and what can help you win. But again, in the context of what's the team, what is the team around that edge rusher? What is the team around that quarterback? It all has to have that sort of context before you can just point to the Super Bowl and say, see, look at what edge rushers do, or see, look at what quarterbacks can't do. It's a long discussion. I just want to make sure that people understand the context before they go jumping out off the bridge saying something about, one side or the other.
The crazy thing is, you probably can have both if you want to get Watson. As Smash Mouth once said in their hit song All-Star, what a concept. Like, you don't need to get rid of Bosa. You don't.
So you had to throw the Smash Mouth thing in there as well.
Oh, you got to. Come on, man. I covered that song. I gotta.
All right. So we'll take another one from Dylan real quick, actually.
Hey, man, I'll take questions until there's no more. I'm good with this.
Yeah. Can you only bring back one, Juice or Verrett? Who are you picking? This one's easy for me, and this is no slight at Juice. It's Verrett.
Yes, it's Verrett.
What Verrett's more impactful. I understand. I understand why fullbacks are needed in this offense. It's all about angles. They use them to open up holes. I get all that. Let's just call a spade a spade. Kyle Juszczyk's blocking took a dip this year. It's on the film. Mm-hmm. So for him to be paid that much, for him to not be utilized the way that, a lot of us would like to, with more lining him up outside, maybe more leak throws, things like that.
Yeah.
In the regard, the Jason Verrett point is this is the easiest one. Week 1, DeAndre Hopkins, 14 catches, 153 yards, right? Yep. Week 16, 7 catches for 43 yards. What changed? Jason Verrett. And that's it right there. You have to remember this division has DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and now it has Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods with Matthew Stafford. Mm-hmm. And now you have DeAndre Hopkins. You need a lockdown one. And that's it. And that's exactly what Verrett was this year.
Yeah, it's Verrett. But I think there's a world that exists that both come back. I don't think that's too crazy, but if I had to pick one, it's Verrett. The secondary is way more important. If you want to fill the fullback position, Frank Gore is available. That's a joke. That's a joke. I made that joke. It was a joke. But yeah, like fullback, I feel like it's easier to replace the fullback position than it is the cornerback. Like I just think it really comes down to that. Verrett was good. Juszczyk was good. What position's more important? Defensive back every time.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, right?
Yes.
Carl Zion asks, will the Chiefs start screaming revenge tour? I hope they do. Ooh.
Oh man. Has anything turned so negative so fast? Oh
yes.
my goodness.
My goodness. I mean, the revenge tour is just going to be what we, so like, when they're going to post a tweet that says, hey, describe the 2020 season without telling what, or describe that season without saying, and then you'll just put revenge tour and you'll know it's 2020.
I hated that when it first happened too, but that's okay.
I hated it too. It's just like, dude, get back to the game. Stop talking. Like it's not, but all right, we'll take two more. Brody A asks, what are y'all's thoughts on Kadarius Toney out of Florida? Yeah, when I was in Mobile, I got a chance to watch his practices. I got a chance to watch him in the game. Man, the kid can get open. He's struggling with drops. So for me, it's, can you fix drops? I think you can. Can you teach how to get open the way that he was getting open? I don't think you can. So I think that Toney is going to be not a project, but he definitely has to work on his hands. Like he's running routes and getting guys away from him 10 to 15 yards and just dropping the ball. So give me the guy who can get open is basically what I'm saying. And I'll take a shot on him all day. I think that he's going to be really good at the next level. And the Senior Bowl is not indicative of what he's going to be able to do in this league.
My thoughts on Kadarius Toney is he is an American football wide receiver who played college football for the Florida Gators. That's just what his Wikipedia page says.
Solid.
I haven't really watched any tape on him, so I'm not going to give an opinion. I don't know what to think. Listen, Brody, I will watch Kadarius Toney for you, and I will come back with an answer before the draft. How about that?
Solid. We'll take our last one from Cali Bill. What do you guys think about Kendrick Bourne coming back? This is a really, really good question. Okay, I'm gonna let you go first because I don't want it seems like I'm taking your points when I go to talk first.
I'm okay with it. He's not a top tier guy, but he's consistent. Yeah, he has games where he has drop issues, but then he'll go like 7-8 games without a drop. He's I don't know. He's just consistent. That's all I look for. He's not going to be a number 1 or number 2 guy. He's a good 3rd, 4th guy. That's no problem. I don't see the issue with bringing him back. It's not like if you bring back Kendrick Bourne, it rules you out from getting another receiver. They have plenty of options there. So like you can easily get Kendrick Bourne back and still go get somebody else. I'm not super anti bringing him back. It is what it is for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel too. If he comes back, cool. I'm just not going to make him a priority, right? Yes. Like there's so many other things, like for me, my dream scenario would be replace Kendrick Bourne with Curtis Samuel. And I would love that, but if Bourne comes back, I'm not mad at it, plus coach loves him. Like, don't discount that, for all the stuff about the drops, it's not as significant as you would believe. You know who led the 49ers in drops?
That would be George Kittle.
It would be George Kittle.
Yes.
And that's the point. Don't pick and choose who you want to do the drop thing with. If you're going to kill people for drops, you're going to have to go at beloved George. And that's why I don't do that. That's why I never do that. It's surprising to know that George Kittle was the one with the most drops, especially since he missed so much time.
And yes, let me fix what I said. The drop issues were last year. I remember he had a couple. I think the first Seattle game, he had a few big drops. The drop issue wasn't a thing this year. Let me fix that. I'll fix that out. Also, in terms of what the 49ers are doing, I think they're pretty smart with trying to get a Bourne contract now, because I very much think that you can offer him something a little cheaper and be like, listen, there's a chance you're not going to get this much on the free market.
Yeah.
Why don't you take this now and sure you get this money? I think it's smart that they're trying to do that because they're bringing back guys already. I think, they've brought back Rosen already. They've brought back Walter. I know there was a name last week that I'm forgetting. They brought somebody back. It was a cornerback. I'm drawing a blank. I apologize. It makes sense that they're trying to bring these guys back on cheaper deals. So then they could say, hey, you might not get this money on the free market. So it makes sense. If the price is right, go do it. Bring back Kendrick Bourne. He's good. He's fine. He's fine for what he is. And he has been one of their better red zone options. So if you're just bringing him back to be a red zone option and finding another receiver for different situations, it do be.
Yeah, and me saying that Curtis Samuel is an upgrade on Kendrick Bourne is no slight at Kendrick Bourne.
No.
Also, full disclosure, I am a Curtis Samuel truther. In my time being in fantasy football, yes. I have always been on the side when you watch the tape that he's wide open. He just never had a quarterback that can get him the ball. This year, they decided to use him all over the place, like Debo in backfield, on sweeps, on tosses, everything like that. He's more dynamic than Kendrick Bourne. And that's the thing that I kind of want to see from this offense. But I would be fine with Kendrick Bourne coming back. It's just I'm not going to sit there and just, bang the table like you have to bring him back. I don't know you have to bring him back, but I'm fine with bringing him back, if that makes any sense.
Hey, Jason, you remember when I said today's episode is probably only going to be like 30 minutes?
An hour.
We're at an hour, so we're going to call it here. We're going to do the same thing we've done the past couple of weeks. We have an interview lined up on Wednesday. The episode will drop Friday.
Can't wait.
We have Steph and Angelina from the 49 Carats podcast. They're going to join us. Barring something crazy happening, we're probably just going to talk like the origin of our fandom of the 49ers. I think that'll be a very fun conversation. I'm looking forward to it. So look out for that on your feeds on Friday morning-ish. I don't know why, but Simplecast puts my time zone as like something overseas. And for whatever reason, when I put it to launch at like 6:30 in the morning on Fridays, it launches at like 10:30 at night on Thursday night. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's in your feed when you wake up on Friday mornings. Mm-hmm. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to do that. No live video on Friday. And we'll see where we go from there. And we'll see what the Niners do, because the off season, the league year hasn't started. I don't think that's till like the middle of March.
March 1st, I think, or something like that.
But maybe it's March. It's March. It's March something. I don't know. We'll just call it March.
You're right.
We'll see what happens over the next couple days, weeks. It sounds like we're going to have a solution to the Carson Wentz talks. Obviously, if the 49ers are the answer to any of these quarterback questions, we'll be on a podcast. We'll drop an emergency pod if any of that happens. But if it doesn't, expect us to be back on Friday. Jason, any final thoughts before we go?
No, just, as much as this season was horrible, this probably is my favorite season. And I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, okay.
Everything that we've done this year, from the pod to who we've met, to being on Twitter and being able to talk with all these people, I understand that it didn't go the way we wanted to as far as our wins and losses and what the 49ers had aspirations for. But this is going to forever be my favorite year because of the relationships we built, the people we've met, the things that we, like Rich Madrid tweeted something that almost sounds sarcastic, but it's true. It's like, maybe, what is it? Maybe instead of worrying about the franchise quarterback, what about the friends that we made along the way?
Oh, yeah, dude. I mentioned it with Akash. Like, Akash was just a Twitter account, dude. Now he's a real person. Matt and Javi, they were just Twitter accounts. Now they're people we have very close working relationships with. I mean, this year, man, the 49ers weren't great. It is what it is. I will forever remember this season because I met my soulmate, Jason Aponte.
Oh, Andrew, don't do this on the show. One more thing too, the interactions that I have with people on Twitter, the people that reach out via DM about either just asking questions or just passing along nice words. In as toxic as Twitter is sometimes it really is a beautiful thing. And honestly, all of this stuff wouldn't have happened if we didn't go through Twitter and meet all these people. So, we've got people that listen to our show. I can't imagine that anybody would ever want to listen to anything that I ever had to say. And this year has just been insane, man. And again, didn't go the way that we wanted, but the stepping stones to what we want to do it's all here. And this has been the most fun that I've ever had, doing anything, man. And just the people that we met.
And to piggyback off that, my DM's also open. You have questions about the 49ers? Ask them. You have things you want to say about the show? Ask them. As I said earlier today, or earlier in the season, like, man, if you're going through stuff, not everybody, everybody's going through things. You need somebody to talk to. My DMs are open too. So like never be afraid to reach out to us. Dylan really wants me to ask it. I've done it privately though. Jason, publicly. Do you want to be my Valentine?
Oh, come on. I'm your Valentine every year. Forget February 14th.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. So perfect. That's going to be it. My girlfriend just looked at me really weird when I asked you that. But that's going to be it. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.